Welcome back for Game 3 as we queue up for a rematch of the Spring Academy Finals as TSM Academy take on C9 Academy. And while the Academy League has always been C9 country, the TSM squad proved last spring that not all things are guaranteed.
Nope, they were able to usurp the throne of C9 being the best Academy team of all time and forever, and they have picked up right where they left off. They are crushing so far in Summer Split, and it's very impressive given the fact that they have swapped jungler. Greg had a monstrous performance. I believe he was the finals MVP, and now they have moved him to spend all of his time on the main team. Even if he's not on stage all the time, he's still scrimming with the main team exclusively. And Spica has stepped up and done fantastic in his position.
And again, for me, Blaze Olive, also a player coming into his own, was drafted on Scouting Grams, I think, 2 years ago now. And at this point, he could unseat Golden Glue as the best Academy mid laner.
And that's hard to believe, given that not only is Golden Glue the best Academy mid laner, but he's also stepped up and had great performances in the LCS recently. So this is not just a huge battle to see who's the best in the Academy, but who is the most prime NA talent to move forward in the history of LCS and become the new face of North American mid laners.
And of course, for Cloud9, they were getting Jukes situated, but for the first time this split, they'll be bringing in Kumo.
This feels like them saying, like, yeah, this is a rivalry game. We want to win it. Like, you know, Jukes, you're great, but we think Kumo has more synergy with the team. He's been here longer, and we really want to win this game.
Yeah, again, also has been picked aggressively, so we'll see what happens on the Kumo side. But let's turn to the teams competing on the Rift now, starting on the blue side with TSM Academy. In the top lane, it's Brandini. In the jungle, it's Speaker. Mid, Blaze Olive. Bot and support Tactical and Treats, and their coach, Peter.
Challenging him on the red side, it's Cloud9 Academy. We got Kumo up in the top lane coming in for the first time. Blabber in the jungle, Golden Glue mid, Keith in the bot lane, supported by Diamond with Coach West Rice.
And as you said, rematch of the finals, it's hard to know where to start with this matchup. We already kind of mentioned the mid lane, but pretty much every lane will be fun to watch this game.
Yeah, and it's really interesting considering how good C9 Academy is. People talk about how they're crushing people in scrims. They have positive win rates versus LCS teams. And knowing that it's not just them at the top anymore is what makes it so exciting. And there's so many position battles going on. Brandini is a veteran player, and Kumo's really new, so you get to see that matchup. We talk about Golden Glue versus Blaze Olive already. Blabber had his shot in the LCS, looked really good in his time. Maybe a little inconsistent, but at least it has the peak to play in the LCS. Spica has been great so far, but now he's going up against one of the best Academy junglers. So just all across the board, it's either a veteran versus a new guy in any side of the matchup.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens in the drafts, of course, here. And if the strategy does change for Cloud9, who've been playing very aggressively all split long, but mostly with Jukes there in the top side. However, Olaf, Gragas, smart ban, and Sona and Sejuani going to be the first 4 bans.
Yeah, but so far, no solo lane targets so far, so we could very easily find ourselves in one of these games with bajillion flex picks in the lane.
I like the idea of, you know what? We know you can play them, we can play them too. Just leave them all open.
Yeah, ban the Lux, and let's see what else we get in here.
Ooh, I like a Lux ban.
Yeah, I mean, the more I see it, the more I'm like, screw that champ.
I mean, it is one of those things where she mainly prevents you from playing the game rather than plays her own game.
Right, you run at me, I bind you. You try and kill my guy, I shield him. Sometimes
you run away, I ult you.
Sometimes I kill you too, but that's not really why you pick her.
All right, well, Yuumi and Nico actually the last 2 bans. So Aurelia instantly into Aatrox Silas there. You're talking about flexes being everywhere. Aatrox certainly already picked in. Still considerations here for the Silas, but won't take too much longer to lock it in.
Yeah, and I gotta say, even though you might be thinking only a 2-way flex, you can always put Aatrox in the jungle as well. So this is one of those things we'll have to see where they go. As well as the fact that with the Sejuani already banned, we won't see that extremely dominant Aurelia early game performance. I mean, maybe we will. I don't want to speak too soon. It is Elise and she is paired with, but it's not the automatic, free, easily stack up stun synergy.
Topside party right now, as Lee Sin and Rumble already picked up to join the Aurelia there for TSM Academy. Sadly, we're on 9-11, so the likelihood of seeing a Mordekaiser is extremely low.
Not
well,
that low? Maybe true, but also not 100% true because some people have been... it's gone. Some people have been funneling with Mordekaiser again, trying that out, but it's not a super prevalent strategy.
So it's a topside kind of metagame right now, and we have 6 picks. The topside is done as far as we know. In fact, with Rek'Sai, I think we can very much affirm that Aatrox will be into a solo lane, so bot lanes, prepare to eat some bans.
Oh yeah, we'll see. It's one of those awkward things where it's like, well, I don't really want to ban my champs out, but we're playing the same stuff, so We'll see who has more diversity and depth in the bot lane pool now, especially since there's already been a couple of bans down there with something like the Sona. Gragas support is sometimes seen as well, so we'll have to see what they can do with it. And the Rumble is the interesting one to me, very strong into a lot of melee matchups, so I like that they were able to grab it this early, whereas normally if you want to play a Rumble, it's better to wait later in the draft.
Curious to see if C9 ban another AD or if maybe diversify assets there in the bot lane. I also wonder, as Caitlyn gets banned, what do you counter pick in a duo lane? I think you can make arguments for both AD and support here.
Well, it's one of those things too where like you would want probably a power pick lane, but you can't really combo it together the way you normally would because C9's picking first. So like I was thinking, okay, Caitlyn Lux or something like that, but if you grab the Caitlyn, they grab the Lux. Well, now both are banned, so it doesn't matter what I'm saying. At this point,
whatever you feel like.
Yeah, I mean, Varus, Lucian still up, Xayah Rakan still up. You can easily go for supports like Alistar, Tom Kench. People still are playing if they think that's what they're going to be good at. You know, Ole still plays it all the time.
Yep, Rome Leona open. Plenty of stuff to pick from here.
Kaisa, Jinx, sure, whatever.
Yeah, Cloud9 basically saying that we are going to play Rakan, and TSM probably don't want to just take it by itself.
Yep, I would imagine they don't want to, but
Ezreal Tom Kench, the most thrilling bot lane.
I hope they don't. It feels like they really need some more setup and stability in this comp to really set up the Rumble Ultimates. We saw how for Clutch Gaming, Lee Sin and Rumble was a really difficult duo to pull off. Ezreal Galio is not really going to help it all that much, but at the support position in the current meta, it is hard to find something that would be great for that.
Right, although we'll take Galio. So has some playmaking ability at least, and C9 will take the predicted Rakan unless they change their mind.
Yeah, doubt it's going to be a Shen. Thresh would be a little bit more interesting. Could work, but I assume it is the Rakan.
I think just taking the time maybe to talk through the rest of the game plan, perhaps considering fringe options if they exist, but as expected, Diamond does lock in Rakan, and our draft is done. It feels like one of the fastest drafts we've had all evening.
Yeah, and it was a really unique one too, where so many of the traditional power picks were let through, everyone grabbed those up right away, and then there's this really awkward situation where both teams need their entire bot lane at the very end. So, you know, some less meta bot lanes, I would say Ezreal, Galio is something that has really fallen out of favor. A lot of people are still playing Ezreal, but it doesn't feel like as much of a focus as things like Sivir recently, Xayah Rakan, I think is
some Caitlyn lanes, some Jinx lanes, most box-based lanes.
It does feel like the bot lane meta is relatively open, though. You can play kind of what you want for the most part. Like we just saw Kaisa last game, even though, you know, Kaisa had kind of been nerfed indirectly through the itemization changes.
Well, we'll see how it all plays out, because two very strong teams about to go head-to-head here on Summoner's Rift. Cloud9 looking to finally hand TSM Academy a loss in this split and get some revenge back from their finals. TSM Academy definitely do not want to pick up losses if they can help it. Cloud9 have been rampaging through Academy for so long, going undefeated for very long periods of time, and it's TSM Academy's turn to try and make another dominant run.
Gotta say, TSM's comp, though, is very high difficulty of execution, so they'll want to snowball and get aggressive and scrappy early and really spike in that mid game. Any later, you think the Xayah Rakan, the Sylas start hitting their kind of super late game power spikes. But we should be in for a treat because the entire top side of the map is very skirmish heavy.
Yeah, Comet, Conqueror, and Conqueror, TSM Academy's top side keystones, but it's Conqueror, Hail of Blades, Conqueror on the other side. So it's
where are the aftershocks? Dead, hopefully.
Yeah, agree. And certainly a different look from Speaker as well. Played a lot of Sejuani, which of course has become almost a TSM meme at this stage. Did get a ban, so credit to him for picking up a ban on the champion, but a player that is known for his fanciness, his style, and his overall mechanical ability from solo queue. So we'll see if that flashiness can translate here onto Lee Sin, playing up against another very aggressive solo queue star. Now, of course, a mainstay of Academy in Blabber.
Yeah, and he's such a boom or bust player. I mean, when sometimes you see Blabber go off, you feel like this kid's unstoppable. He's going to become the next great talent in jungle, and sometimes he has these games where you just think he doesn't have his head on straight. And I mean, you even hear his own team talk about the brain off play that he sometimes has, sometimes being great for the team and really being that spark plug that you need to force plays in some situations.
Well, a lot of fanciness happening here in mid. Gotagu actually started chain first, I think, or maybe they just throw him at level 2. He's going to get the wave push first, though. Had the early advantage, so Ablaze is going to have to collect whatever he can here under the turret, but very easy for Aurelia with some mana to do that here. So Golden Glue going to wander off to ward instead.
And it's interesting, you know, we saw this exact same matchup on the same sides play out previously, and we talked about how with the two abilities early on, Silas usually gets the push. But this time around, they actually shoved it even faster than it happened in the first game, so he didn't hit 3 off the wave initially. He's going to get it off this wave. And it's a little bit in a more neutral position, whereas last time he got 3 and the wave was kind of pushing back to him. So I want to see how they play this out, given that there's not such a discrepancy in jungle mid synergy. It is still probably a little Aurelia favored early on, but it really will come down to whose jungler got there first and was able to land all their abilities.
Yeah, and again, right now it's just FLICKR and Speaker farming between their sides of the jungle. Also two junglers that like to fight other junglers, so whatever the first encounter for the junglers is, expect it to be a pretty violent one. As Blabber gonna at least take the crab here.
Yeah,
it's full for now.
It's one of those things too where we keep talking about who gets there first. This is another one where Lacey lands a Q on Rek'Sai, but if he takes the Q, she can get the Unburrow knock up and knock him out of that damage, and then she kind of bursts back harder at that point. So it really is a lot about who finds who in what situation.
And Blabber just cruising through mid lane. Wants to go straight for that second crab, I think. He's going to sweep through.
He's got the Tremor Sense on him.
Spot Speaker with the Prey Seeker. And there's the crab. Both mid lane is also around here. Top lane is also kind of in the neutral spot, so we could have quite the battle here for this crab. The Streets finds a double taunt, and they're near the turret, but not quite under it. And they eat way too much damage on the back end as Golden Glue able to juke out of that Q. Now going to just fight straight in onto the Lee Sin, so Speaker forced the ward hop away to safety.
Yeah, missed the Q on Golden Glue. Probably did not want too much of that fight anyways, as Ablaze Olive was not really coming to help. And it looked like Kumo was able to cut off Brandini in the top side. So the lane priority in favor of C9 allows that kind of very aggressive Scuttle Crab to Scuttle Crab straight across the mid lane pathing from Blabber. And getting a nice early advantage in the jungle off that.
Top side as well, pretty even right now. The Kumo, nice Q. Gets Brandini with the edge for a bit of extra damage and the knock up, and Wave is pushing in. Rumble going to try and hold this as long as he can.
Yeah, Brandini, a very good Rumble player, one of his signature champions, but oof.
Pull back in, very nicely timed by Kumo, but good shield there from the Rumble. Kumo maybe needs an auto and a half to finish it off, so he's going to call Blabber for the half. Brandini, ooh, good flash, but he gets smited. There's the Unburrow through the harpoon, and Blabber with a well-deserved first blood.
Yeah, well played. Just smites him right as he flashes, so you can basically walk up and follow with the flash right after. And there's some of that early aggression really paying off because they forced Spica out of the top half of the map. They know that that is 100% a trade that Kumo can take. If you don't know where the jungler is, usually your Aatrox is not going to trade that aggressively, but they knew they had forced Spica out of the top side of the map, so he was able to take that trade. And then because they know Spica's out of the top side of the map, that dive is super free. So Brandini really coming out behind from that loss in jungle pressure.
Yep, also no flash, so watch this one again. Kumo gets most of the job done here, and then Blabber's like, hey, that looks like a kill.
Yeah, and I think it's so important to point out the presence of what happened before in that Scuttle Crab skirmish for why a play like this happens. Meanwhile, on the bot side, I apparently...
Yeah, Treats also died.
I did not see that one on the minimap.
Saw it right as the other one happened, but
It's a question mark thing for me.
sometimes you face check the Ignite and then you die. That's pretty much
Maybe
what
thought
happened.
one of them recalled and was trying to interrupt the other one, but they're the lovers duo, so I don't know why they would ever asynchronously recall unless it was intentional, but not quite sure. Either way, Treats gets punished for walking forward there. And to return to the earlier point, it's one of those things where you see a good trade on the top side, but you need to realize, like, in a situation where a wave like that is pushing in and you don't know where the jungler is, a lot of the time the jungler is like hovering behind to protect his top laner as he pushes that wave in. But because they had already done the work of figuring out where the jungler was, the top laner can do that himself and trade so aggressively. So I mean, it's just one of those things that you can't understate the importance of Golden Glue helping out to secure that Scuttle Crab, chunking out Spica, and how interconnected the whole game is. Because it's not even like, oh, that dive doesn't happen. It's like that trade to set up that dive doesn't even happen if Spica could be on the top side.
Well, he's at least back on that side of the map now here. Takes down the Scuttle Crab. Finally able to grab one for himself and going to continue farming through, moving pretty quickly towards 6. Already the case though for Blabber. He's ready with not quite the warrior just yet. As I say that, of course, he goes back and buys it. So looking for Rek'Sai to continue his aggression, particularly in top, where the flash is still missing for Brandini. But we know that Lucian's up here on the top side. We'll see how aggressive Kumo wants to be.
And you just see already, like, the difference in Kumo's playstyle when he is not 100% sure where Kumo is. He suspects he could be up on the top side. There's some vision control, but he's not guaranteed. Now we got caught being aggressive.
Brandini might make it look a little too good. Kumo at least forced to pop the ulti for the move speed. That one's going to wear out pretty quickly.
This does free up the bot side now, seeing Speak up there to go aggressive and keep pressuring underneath the turret.
Get some damage down there, and Golden Glue and blabber will translate down here to take the first Drake of the game. Mounted here at 8 minutes, always nice.
Yeah, this game is a clinic on pressure and how to play around it correctly.
Big up top side. No ulti, remember, here for the Aatrox. Kick ready for Lee Sin, kicks him out, has to actually not die, and there's the flash, finds the Q, smite for a bit of extra health, but Kumo still going to keep chasing here. Oh, nails him with the last little Q there, and now an all in the mid lane of Blaze Olive looking low, but Blabber going to make it very uneven.
Foo Fighters, there goes my hero, starts playing slow-mo as Rek'Sai comes flying in from the corner to save him.
Not learn to play? Okay.
Oh, no.
I guess Rek'Sai already knows.
Yeah. But that was a super close skirmish there. Very kind of hard to follow what's going on. Who's Aurelia ult is who's there. But speak of making a big mistake in the top side, just getting so over-eager to kind of punish that Baron, actually taking the Q underneath the turret, which then puts him at enough of a health disadvantage that it's very easy for Kumo to go all in.
And again, despite this, Kumo just patient, waiting for the Q to come back up. It's the longest range one, and easy pickup at the end of it all.
All right, we'll see if I can follow this time in the replay. They're both hitting each other quite a lot and using all their abilities. Looks like, yeah, Blaze Olive probably would have won that without the Rek'Sai ult coming in. So, yep, Blabber is the hero of the day for Golden Glue.
One of the general considerations for Aurelia into Sylas is that when Sylas steals your ult, yes, it does a lot of damage when you have a lot of AP, but you can't get resets, and Aurelia can. So it's a very unfair fight usually in a 1v1, so Blabber, knowing this, decides to gank the lane.
Yep, good job by Blabber, transitioning after that Drake take to knowing he can hover around the mid lane.
Certainly been one of the reasons Cloud9 Academy have been so successful. Blabber and Golden Glue have been a pair for quite a while now. And even though Cloud9 have evolved to play, you know, more around just their mid lane, certainly always nice to see them play together. Sylas certainly a very good gank assist champion. So now with the blue buff handed over, Blabber going to pay for the kill he just got in mid lane. As bottom lane, you kind of mentioned it already, that defensive Ezreal pick has been kind of rough given how isolated this bottom lane has been. I mean, they're about to lose all their plates on the turret with effectively no jungle intervention.
Yeah, I mean, there has been some spillover to knowing Spica's on the top side, and they can push aggressively. But Zyra Khan, I think most people would say in the current meta is a much stronger dual lane than Ezreal and Galio, so it was kind of expected to lose this lane, but with the fact that top side was kind of losing on its own, now Treat's in trouble.
Yeah, Blabber immediately going in for it, has the ulti ready, I think. Golden Glue over, Treat's gonna flash, but I'm not sure that's gonna save him. Actually is enough for his teammates there. Now Golden Glue gonna steal the Galio ult to get out of here as Blabber's gonna run away. Nice little creative escape action. In fact, Golden Glue maybe gonna try and back around again for the fight. There's the Galio ulti, not interrupted. Into Patrifog of War and out to safety on Blabber.
Very cute play to escape there by Golden Glue. Well played by Treats to kind of flash into a minion wave and make it so Sylas's follow-up CC was not as good, as well as get underneath the turret enough that Blabber did not feel confident using his ult to secure that kill. So a hairy situation Treats gets out of, but then also indirectly aids Golden Glue from getting out of it as well.
Blaze Olive back in, but Golden Glue still fighting. Blabber kicked into the tower, knocked up as well. Beautiful play there by TSM, but Blabber actually on a killing spree now. Finally shut down there by the Galio, but C9 looking to dive there. Onto a Blaze Olive they go, but the stun is going to find two. Keith, in the meantime, taking the turret solo, getting all those plates for himself.
This is a scrappy game we were talking about, just a little more in favor of C9 than we were anticipating, but some really well-played mechanics there by Blabber to not save himself, but stall out and give his team the advantage in that skirmish. You're going to see him go on to Spica, get kicked in. Bit of a mistake there, but then after getting knocked up, is able to go ult and dodge out on some of the turret aggro that would have killed him instantly. So he's at least able to trade on Spica, making the best of a bit of a missed position. When he went over the wall, obviously he wants to be on the left side of Lee Sin, but unfortunately ended up on the right side, and Lee Sin could kick him right underneath the turret.
Kuma also rotating down, so Cloud9 now trying to move people around the map and move these advantages out of the lanes that they're in. I guess mostly Keith, actually. Keith and Blabber that have leads in their respective matchups, because the Blazol has been farming up a storm. And top lane's pretty even as Tactical going to TP into the mid lane. Still having to face up against the duo, unfortunately for him, as Keith and Diamond have rotated now to the mid outer now that Keith is taking plates. Hungry for more as Golden is also trying to set something up. We'll steal the True Shot Barrage, and that's Cloud9 over to the Rift Herald.
Yeah, probably going to just throw that one out to land some poke if the side of TSM Academy wants to contest this Rift Herald. Otherwise, just hang on to it. And there it goes.
Good vision as well. Tactical's taking a decent chunk of his HP. True Shot Barrage back. Not as good right now for the Ezreal. Street's gonna look for something. Diamond over the instant charm for the and the knockup after Shock proc, but I'm not sure he's got enough health to live. Keith needs one more order, but Kumo swings in with a sword to finish it off as Blabber again. Gonna get kicked, this time into a stun, and Brandini able to get the counter kill.
Yeah, a bit of a misprioritization there on the side of C9 Academy. Kumo flashing in for what I think was already a pretty dead target. Just kind of went in for that kill and then didn't have his flash to get over that wall and potentially help the Rek'Sai, who the second time in a row finds himself punted to an undesirable location.
That's though, the Blazol and Vanguard dead, not enough. Voting we're gonna dive back on. Tactical can't really stay for too much longer. Feather Call does not find Tactical rooted, but flash Q there from Golden Glue into stasis, and Keith gonna line it up. Diamond with a Q nails him.
And some of these plays got me scratching my head. I'm not quite sure what Tactical was really going for there, trying to be aggressive in a 1v3 situation. Does make Golden Glue flash for the kill, but I think he's more than happy to do that and potentially grab a mid turret at the end of it.
Yeah, Blabber dying unfortunately means that could not collect the extra plates immediately, but might just cash it in right now for a tier 2. Gonna hold on to the recall for now though. And looks like Mountain Drake is a bit more important for Cloud9 at this stage.
All things considered, TSM definitely struggling with their decision making. Treats has made a number of errors. Once again, they're kind of starting that out poorly for his team with just walking in to kind of land a taunt. He's not taking. What a steal! Oh god, Spica.
All right, well he's trying to keep the team in it.
I'm trying to complain about you guys, and you go make a great play. Come on.
That's not how it's supposed to work. Well, Cloud9 one of the Mountain Drake, but we'll split them now. As Kumo setting a trap here for Brandini in the top lane. Trap not sprung. Kumo just going to walk back to the wave instead.
Let's go back to, I guess this is a mistake by a Blaze Olive. Just didn't know Golden Glue was hovering over the side of the wall there, so thinks it's a 2v2 that he's potentially fishing for a kill and ends up being a 3v2. And then Tactical flashes away, lands that, but then Arcane shifts into proc it. Just very surprising play to go for, and ends up getting himself killed there. Diamond with a snipe on the Q, actually. And then here's Spica's. Yeah, just surprised at the fact they didn't stop damage on it and wait for the Q to time out. You know, they were all relatively healthy. Blabber was not going to die to the dragon, so, you know, just maybe a little bit too much confidence in their mechanics when they thought that he would get the smite verse, but Spica goes in there. Not having a great game, but he did get the Drake off you.
Better than nothing. About 5,000 gold up, still there for Cloud9 as Keith's going to get dove on. Forced to Featherstorm as Aurelia ulti's in. Diamond going to dash away, but Blabber straight in there onto a Blaze Olive. Kumo also around the backside with the TP with the Rumble ulti into the Galio taunt. Going to make it a fight for TSM. Going to be 2, 3, 4 kills now as Golden Glue the only one left alive.
Oh boy. TSM might be able to get the complete ace off the end of this.
Golden Glue again steals the ulti, tries to buy time, ignites onto a Blaze Olive, but Treats and Speaker gonna line it all up, and a Blaze Olive zooms in for the ace.
Disastrous jungle fight for C9. What else can TSM get off the end of it? Looks like they'll grab their first turret in the mid lane. And they have a way to potentially grab their bot one too, which would be enough to push this gold lead back to even out of nowhere.
Yeah, I just said Cloud9 were up about 5,000 gold, but make it even as 2 towers do indeed fall.
This is a very scattered fight. starts out with them sort of tunneling on a Blaze Olive, but not really. The TP completes and Kumo's in the middle of nowhere. Blabber goes back onto a Blaze Olive, and then after they realize they're in trouble, sick Rumble ult on top of it. And Golden Glue never involved in the fight. He was never actually committed to any single target of who they want to actually go on.
Yeah, and then this is an easy cleanup here. Golden Glue buys what time he can, gets the Ignite down to force the Blaze Olive away, but not nearly enough to save himself there as the full ace is completed for TSM Academy. And all of a sudden, Brandini picked up some extra gold. He's got a Leandry is now finished. If the last ult you thought was nice, next one's going to be even better as Kumo pops the ulti. Oh, Vanguard's Edge going to get dashed out of the way from, but a Blaze Olive might just keep the auto attacks coming. Kumo can't res if he doesn't get a takedown, and the Blaze Olive gets the next stun, and there's the solo kill.
Yeah, fancy footwork by both people. Kumo not really able to land any of the Q sweet spots aside from that last one. He did manage to dodge out in the Aurelia ult, but if it's a straight auto attack battle, and like you said, not getting the res because he couldn't get a takedown, of course it's going to go in favor of the Aurelia.
The Golden Glue stolen the Rumble ulti here. It's a good one to grab, but TSM gonna form up, try and take down the last outer turret here. Cloud9, of course, following pretty aggressively as they don't want to give up the turrets if they can help it, but with how strong a Blaze Olive is getting on the Aurelia, 50 CS ahead of Golden Glue, and as we can see, able to pretty easily take out the top laner as well. It's going to be causing a lot of problems here as he pushes a giant wave in towards their turret.
Yeah, both solo laners are one physical and one magical, so it's really hard to itemize effectively against who you're going to be up against because they can always swap, so neither is actually itemizing any sort of defense aside for their boot choices. And these are champions that just typically don't itemize that much resistances anyway, so this is a very scrappy game with probably a lot of splitting and solo kills coming in side lanes.
Golden Glue at least feeling somewhat confident here in his current 1v1 versus Brandini, who's going to let the wave push in and plan to spitter it down nice and easily. Might be waiting for the next Drake. 35 seconds until Infernal Drake is up for the taking. Saw the choke point do well for TSM Academy in the last fight.
Both teams starting to work on the vision control down there. TSM working for mid lane priority first.
Blabber in the pit. Gonna get some tunnels set up and try and sweep deep behind enemy lines.
Waiting for the flank.
Maybe now the one getting flanked though. Not spotted just yet though. Can see them with the tremor sensor. I think Blabber's out safely.
Deep behind enemy lines. He knows they're there. I don't think they know he's there. And I believe that was just Golden Glue throwing his equalizer out.
That was?
Probably was going to time out in a second. But it means he has no ult for this fight.
Yeah, it's true. You have to wait for Hijack to cool back down once you do use whatever ulti you've picked. So TSM might just feel confident to go straight in for this Infernal Drake. Gonna take the crab first because, you know, gotta do the administration before you hand in the papers.
Diamond also chunked out to below half. It's a posture battle that C9A is losing quite handily.
Nice Vanguard's Edge, but a good knock-up there. The Galio gonna ride in and treat, but it's an absolutely massive knock-up. Still the Feather Claw shutdown as Kumo has dove in and is ready to res there with the World Ender. Blabber low as Golden Glue is the one now to get the ulti around. And with the Protobot able to find the flank in onto Brandini. A Speaker knocked up by Kumo, gonna make it a double kill there for the Silas. And this time it's C9's turn to find the right fight as Treats. Gonna be forced to find the taunt here. Might be left for dead here by Tactical. He's gonna get killed by Kumo.
Oh baby, a 4-for-1. Felt like a very close fight as Blaze Olive started that one off and almost was able to bait a lot of cooldowns out, but was just unfortunate enough to be on top of a feather that Keith was already pulling back as he tried to kite back to creep. So a very cute idea by TSM that does not pan out, and as a punishment, they're gonna lose the Barons.
Yeah, Blabber running over, but Speaker dead, so no real opportunity to steal. They have to fight their way out if they want to do something here. Tactical's here, ready to try and poke them off. Blaze Olive might be able to get in for a steal, but the Vanguard's Edge is down. He's going to try and get a kill. He grabs Diamond. The Baron's still up for grabs. Golden Glue low, but he does die. And Zaya able to grab the Baron. Now Tactical caught out of position. Oh, what are you doing there? Blabber with an easy kill.
Yeah, nice wraparound by Blabber. You think the enemy's probably in full retreat mode, but Blabber still relatively healthy after getting the Baron. Goes back in, picks up one more kill. I like the decision by TSM to kind of all in to stop that from going down. If they could have found Blabber, maybe they could have got the Baron. Didn't quite work out, and now game feels like a lot, pretty far gone for TSM. 4K gold deficit.
Yeah, gold lead again. We talked about how well they did to undo the 5K gold league with that one team fight. Now back down to 4K, losing this Infernal Drake here as well, unless Speaker has another steal up his sleeves.
Not this time. And would it be nice to grab themselves an Infernal? This is such a sick fight. So watch Blaze Olive start this out in the diamond. And there's a number of creeps that are low. So as he starts getting all this stuff focused down on him, he's able to queue out. But right as he goes, there's all these feathers that are actually going to finish him off, which gives Kumo the reset while charging forward in the team fight. So he can go crazy. Then you also have Golden Glue Seal in the galley wall, which he uses as a flank angle to kind of cut off this escape that's potential from TSM. And able to run forward and get a bunch more of these kills. Super close touch and go fight there that C9 actually out-executed on quite heavily. And then here is that kind of last-ditch effort to stop this Baron from going down. He gets Diamond, but couldn't quite find Kumo or Golden Glue, both of them having a lot of healing in their kits that allowed them to actually sustain back up.
Tactical with the greed is what cost him there, trying to find the last few bits of poke to maybe get a kill. Instead gets killed by Blabber, who's coming back off the respawn. And now Cloud9 with the Baron looking to shove down some turrets. Only have 3 to their name. Got a long lane here in bot with Kumo starting things off. Means that they're looking to break an inhibitor ASAP. Keith also getting things going here in mid lane. Blabber will hang out to take down the control ward. Cloud9 Academy should get a lot off this Baron.
A lot of melees though. Only Xayah the range champion. So kind of like what we were saying in the last game. Might need to turn up the aggression to actually start breaking these down. TSM feels like they can probably lose a couple of these inner turrets. They don't want to all in on them, but once it starts getting pushed up to the actual inhibitor turrets, when you start seeing some of the fighting to get them.
Well, slow and steady, sticking up the waves. Blubber actually in the top half of the map, getting that going. Nice ult there from Golden Glue actually just to get them off the turret. Stole the equalizer and pretty creative bit of usage for some siege pressure as Blabber is going to finish off almost all of that top outer turret. Or top tier 2, excuse me.
Rest of the team showing up though.
There we go. Golden Glue, procs the passive. Blabber back over the wall. Vanguard's dead down. Blaze Olive, maybe getting caught out of the way. Galio finds the big knockup. Kumo though rotating over as Keith already took down one. Treat's also going to get knocked up by Kumo for the interrupt, and the equalizer is too late for Brandini.
Too little, too late. Nice engage there by C9 Academy. The question is, what more can they get off of it? Definitely at least one inhibitor, but 20 seconds on either member might be the end of the game if they can catch out one more person here. Just barely missing on those chains.
Golden Glue's not able to quite land the latch. And they will back away. Oh, no, take it back time and straight back into the tactical.
No,
he's going to force a flash. No friends to speak of and no ult for Blabber. It's difficult to follow up and Tactical gets away.
That could have been the game-ending engage if the rest of the team was on the same page. Not quite the case. There's a Blaze Olive. Nice fancy feat to stop getting engaged on, but just too much damage. So even through that kind of Galio knockup, they were able to finish him off, and then very easy to chase down. You can see that they were not really anticipating wanting to fight there, as Brandini could not be in range in time for a nice equalizer on top of the Galio ultimate. Just not intending to actually defend that turret, just get caught out of position.
And punished soundly by Cloud9 Academy. As a result, Gold Lead is getting scarily close towards the 10K mark. It's about 8 right now. Cloud9 does so much gold between everyone. I mean, Blabber has 3 items, including a Guardian Angel. Keith is rapidly working towards item number 4. I mean, Golden Glue is the one behind this game, and even he is just fine in the situation.
Yep. Might not have had the greatest farming game. Not been able to pick that up, but has a lot of kills to make up for that. So he's just pretty much even with a Blaze Olive.
And the Blaze Olive, the ones that continue to look for here for TSM Academy. Got the most gold. He's the only one really close to anyone else on the other team as far as total gold goes. The Speaker is able to get out from under that Prey Seeker. But Cloud9 not particularly shy about trying to end the game. Gonna get things going once again here in the bottom lane with Golden Glue guiding the supers in towards the middle as well.
We'll see how eager they are to actually end it without the Baron. They can wait a second, just kind of pressure for another minute and then go for the Baron, or you know, they are kind of crazy. Maybe they start things off with another stolen Rumble equalizer and try and force them off the turret and really end this game instantly.
Always down for a bit of crazy, Mark.
Does have the Rumble ult.
Just has Zony's now as well. So, up to 3 items now with the rest of his team. Looks like top wave into Baron is the call. Also Mountain Drake to consider, but Cloud9 pretty happy to trade here, if that's ultimately what happens. Double back now towards the midsection once more as Keith wants to ensure they have as much priority as possible here.
I think TSM should look to take this fight at the Baron. It won't be that much easier at the bases. If you can find them in the pit with a nice Rumble Equalizer on top of an Aurelio ult, you know, you do have the tools to set this up. Like we were saying, it is a very high difficulty comp to execute on. It does require really nice synergy, but this does feel like the best chance for it. Drop it fast.
Yeah, I mean, Crucial Barrage only going to help Speaker. Again, can look for the steal, doesn't get it. Made it close. The stop push into the Galio ulti isn't bad. Diamond, though, in the backline is going to fall as he tried to dive to buy time for his team. Akumo still hasn't found a reset. Still no takedown, so it has to flash away, but Cloud9 won the fight in the Baron pit. It's now Golden Glue going to keep fighting it out versus Blazoli, but now Tax is going to rejoin the fight to make it fairly unfair. Good stasis there from Grayson, but looks to still go down as Blazoli finally finds the shutdown.
Could have gone worse. Keith was actually super low too. Tactical had to refocus on the opponent in the pit in Golden Glue. But that was a good fight for TSM. I'm glad they looked for it at the Baron. Like I was saying, that's exactly what they need to do. And they were so close to stealing it with that Speaka Q ult or Q smite combo. Just barely missed it, but that could have been a huge play for TSM back in the game.
Blabber so good at setting traps. Finds the flash, and that fight did so much damage.
Really well done by Blabber. You 100% expect C9 surviving members to recall there. But finds a nice cleanup kill in here. Speaka almost getting there. Rumble Equalizer kind of splits the fight, and Kumo goes for this flank, but no one is helping him. Everyone else is dealing with people in the pit, so Kumo's able to get focused down. Never is going to pick up the revive part of his kit. And then, yeah, Speaka and Treats kind of dealing with the backline, actually chunked out a lot of them with the help of that Rumble Equalizer. And then they have to go focus. See how low Blabber and Keith are, but Golden Glue would have won that 1v1, so they need to refocus onto him. Which means the next two members can get out alive, except Blabber, ever the hunter, knows they're going to go to push out waves because they think we're recalling. I'll catch one of them on the waves, and got that extra kill on the Blaze Olive.
Certainly a man has never shied away from a kill if he could see one, and does take the opportunity there. We are 33 kills through this 29.5-minute game, but it's still come up mostly Cloud9. Baron still ticking away. 2 Mountain Drakes. They did manage to pick up the other one after they did eventually all recall fully. And even though mid inhibitors may be coming back up actually right now, tough to defend, especially if Cloud9 want to get any sort of aggressive.
Yeah, especially with some of the power spikes coming in. Golden Glue super close to 16. Not quite there yet, but once he does, he'll be able to ult so much more frequently. Keith at 16, 4 items. You know, there's some very strong opponents for C9.
And it is tough to see the avenues that TSM can start a fight with here, because they can really only start them in a couple of narrow ways. And they're not really far enough ahead. But they have to start now. Diamond, they're looking for the knockout. Finds
sick
but he does
equalizer.
get locked up. Good equalizer there from Brandini. Actually going to maybe find the fight here for TSM. Kumo, though, find the reset. Blabber still resurrecting, but Cloud9 Academy maybe have enough here to keep going. They've stayed alive. They've got the reset for the GA, and that's going to be the Nexus falling down. Cloud9 Academy, it was scrappy. It was chaotic. It was very, very aggressive, but tactical. The only one left alive in the fountain to watch the Nexus fall.
Yeah, Kumo coming up huge there in that last team fight. Everyone dog piles on top of each other. The Rumble Equalizer's ticking down, but if everyone's grouped up, that's also perfect for an Aatrox, getting those AoE Qs down, healing up a ton, and what looked like it might have been a little scary showed that they were actually completely fine, able to close that game out.
Also so far ahead that I think it was very difficult for Cloud9 to make many wrong decisions, given how late the game was going. And I have to say, Cloud9, you know, they wanted some revenge after the finals, certainly delivered here.
And the game was packed full of high variance champions that can easily stomp a game or get completely crushed. So even though it looked completely in C9's favor, you need to remember TSM swung a 5K gold lead right back in their favor. This was a super back and forth game that really did look like the best 2 teams in Academy going at it.
Well, have a look at some of the highlights from that game. Cloud9 in control here in this replay, but TSM able to fight it back.
And this is what we're talking about. There have been a number of skirmishes going in C9's favor. They are up thousands of gold at this point, but they can't find a target to actually focus down. They get kind of kited out. And then in this corridor, get absolutely crushed by that Rumble Equalizer and the chase down that happens with an Aurelia. Golden Glue never able to get involved. He's actually going to get chased down as well for an ace. And so after that, they also lost some turrets, and it was a super, super close game. It was just felt like the comp was better for the side of C9, or at least easier to execute on. I think both junglers had really great moments, but also some very confusing ones. Sometimes Contracts is getting kicked in when he really shouldn't. Sometimes SKirmishes is not able to protect his carries on the right side of the map, as well as getting caught out of position. So it felt like one of those very scrappy games between two very aggressive teams.
Well, it kind of all ended in this as C9 in our next replay take back momentum.
And this was another one of those super close fights. TSM was relatively even. They had a lot more pressure in this specific situation, but they get outplayed. Blazolov not able to find a kill and then gets shut down by Keith pulling back the feathers, which gives Kumo the reset. He's able to run wild. Diamond is able to stay alive, and Golden Glue unfocused in this entire replay starts running wild. And this is when the game really fell out of their control again. So, you know, it was a back and forth game, really about when you found your engage, did you actually execute on it? We saw a replay just before this. C9 flubbed their engage. They get hard punished. Same thing happened here, and you can see it in the gold graph.
Yep, kind of a little peak where things kind of dipped down, but Cloud9, I think after that fight, were able to find that nice, smooth-ish snowball all the way down to the Nexus.
It's always annoying when the gold graph is like that because you want to call it a canyon, but it's, you know,
true.
like if it was the blue side, it would look like a canyon, but it's jumping
now
up.
it's a cave. All right, well.
It's like a stalagmite or stalactite. Which one's the one from the top?
Tight. Hold on tight.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, well, to give us his thoughts on caves and also how that game played out, I'd like to welcome Blabber to the broadcast via Discord. Blabber, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing good. How do you feel after taking down TSM? Did it feel like revenge for the finals, or is it, you know, not quite as rewarding?
I mean, it definitely felt good. I was really nervous going into the game because I didn't really have the greatest performance with them last split. So I was pretty nervous going into the game, but I'm glad we were able to win.
I mean, what are the differences? Like, obviously, Grig, a big part of their win in the last finals, but no longer on the TSM Academy team. What's it like playing against a much newer jungler like SKirmishes?
I mean, it's definitely different. Grig's a lot more experienced, for sure, because he's played a lot longer. But there are a lot of new junglers in Academy, and I just played like I normally would.
Yeah, and so this was also the first time Kumo was playing with you guys so far. So we were speculating it was because, you know, it's the TSM rivalry match. But what was the reason he stepped in for this game, and what is it like playing with him versus Jukes?
I guess, yeah, you could say that it was because of the TSM rivalry match Kumo came in. Kumo was a big part of like our team last split, and he's definitely still a big part of our team this split. But working with Jukes has also been really nice. He like hasn't really played professionally before the split, but he's super willing to learn, and it's been really great working with him for sure.
And then, of course, after now beating the TSM Academy, it feels like the confidence maybe restored a little bit more in the team, even though you already picked up one early loss. What are your thoughts, kind of, again, looking to retake the title once more for Cloud9 Academy?
Oh, we're definitely winning this split. Can't believe we didn't win last split, but this one's ours.
All right, well, Vava, thank you so much, and congratulations on your win today.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, there's more league action coming up after the break. We'll return with Game 4 of the night as FLICKR Academy take on Clutch Gaming Academy. Frandini, ooh, good flash, but he gets smited. There's the Umbora through the harpoon, and Blabber with a well-deserved first blood.
Trying to land a taunt. He's not taking.
What a steal.
Oh, God. SKirmishes.
From the backside
Nice
with the
ult.
TP with the Rumble ulti into the Galio taunt. Gonna make it a fight for TSM. Gonna be 2, 3, 4 kills now. As Golden Glue the only one left alive. The Vanguard's edge is down. He's gonna try and get a kill. He grabs Diamond. The Baron's still up for grabs. Golden Glue low, but he does die. And Zaya able to grab the Baron. Now Tactical caught out of position. Oh, what are you doing there? Blabber with an easy kill.
Oh, sick
But he does
equalizer.
get locked up. Good equalizer there from Brandini. Actually going to maybe find the fight here for TSM. Kumo, though, find the reset. Blabber still resurrecting, but Cloud9 Academy maybe have enough here to keep going. They've stayed alive. They've got the reset for the GA, and that's going to be the Nexus falling down.